Welcome back to Coil Coaching Thriving One podcast. We're so excited to be with you guys in this new year.
Yay!
Happy 2023. 2023. It is upon us. So crazy. It's so funny. I was watching a movie recently where it was one of those movies where it was like the future in 2000 or 22. And I was like, oh, yes, we're past that now. All those things, flying cars,
Yeah.
apocalypse, all these funny movies related to the 2020s. But we're here, and how fun is this? It's a beautiful day today, and we're so glad to be with you. And we have a phenomenal topic we want to talk about with you guys today.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. So this is our first podcast for 2023. So can you just imagine, like in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, what would that look like for somebody to find this podcast? And we're talking about the apocalypse from years ago, and then, the movies and stuff. And then now, like what would the movies look like during that time, like in 50 years, like the possibilities are endless. So anyway, we're here right now. And the other thing that we are celebrating this year, or at least this month in January, 2 years ago in January 4th in 2021, we officially launched Coil Coaching.
Come on.
So technically right now for this month of January, we are celebrating 2 years of Coil Coaching. So what can we say? I mean, these past 2 years have been more than what we could have ever asked for.
Yes.
As we look back, and we're going to be sharing some of those highlights, as we look back, we are so in awe of how much love and support we received in growing our business and community. So when we said yes to launching Coil Coaching, we weren't fully aware, or we didn't fully anticipate the journey we would face and the wonderful experiences that we have in serving our clients and what that would look like. So to just get you in the spirit of the celebration, we want to let you in, especially if, some of you have been with us from the very beginning.
Yes.
Some of you are just coming in and getting to know us, and we want to give you guys a little snippet of the goodness of God and what he has done in the last 2 years for Coil Coaching. So in the last 2 years, we were able to serve over 140 clients.
Wow.
Over 140 clients. That's not everybody. It's just like an approximate number. Over 140 clients through our life and leadership coaching, our consulting and mentoring sessions.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. If you're one of those clients, thank you. It's past, present, and ongoing clients. You're a part of that statistic. And the next one is what I was really surprised, but kind of not surprised. I don't know. Over 175 clients and students we served through our courses. So we have short-term courses and leadership programs. So if you're one of those, if you've ever done a course, like I think we did Leading the Heart, we did Hearing the Heart of God, we did a disc workshop, and obviously our programs, Kingdomize One, and our Coil Coaching certification. If you're one of those, we thank you so much for participating and for being a part of that community. And the next one is we have over 400 women through our Coil Coaching Women community.
So cool.
Wow, that's a global community, you guys. Like if you've ever, wondered like, hey, I wanna be a part of a global community, you wanna feel belonged, or you wanna check it out, just go ahead and check out our Coil Coaching Women community on Facebook. It's for free. You can join for free and it's going to be amazing. So anyway, and the next one, over 25, both online and in-person conferences, events, gatherings, and retreats.
Wow. Sounds busy.
And the thing is, like we can go through life and we can be busy and we can be all of that. But then when you really sit down and take into account the blessings, take into account like what God has done, and we could just sit here and say, thank you. you know, because the list could go on. You know, we've did so many things. So with this, we want to send a massive thank you to all of our clients, students, family, and friends. We value your trust and confidence in us. You know, we could not have done this without you. So thank you for your love and support. We are so grateful.
So grateful.
So grateful. Yeah.
It's been such a blessing to be able to speak into lives, support, run with people, do community. Yeah. We love you guys.
Yeah. And I'm thankful for you. You know, I could not have done this without you, because Coil Coaching is Matt and Lindsay
Come
Coil.
on, that's right.
You know, so many background stories that you guys don't get to hear. But Matt, my husband over here, has been one of my biggest encourager this last couple years in really diving into our business and even starting the business. So I am thankful for you.
I'm thankful for you. And this lady here, you guys, how about this lady right here? Man, I'm so proud of my wife and just stepping out, doing the Coil Coaching Women, stepping out and doing leadership, empowerment, creating community. How phenomenal is that? I can't be more proud of what she's done in and through her life, getting to be a part of her life and running with her. I thank you too.
I thank you.
Having a moment here.
Anyway, so because of this, you know, we want to give back to you guys. So so this month in January, we will be giving away 2 discovery sessions.
Wow.
So be on the lookout for an email. You know, if you're in our email list, then you won't miss this. And then if you're following us on social media, we'll definitely post there as well. So please be on the lookout for that. So we're giving away 2 discovery sessions, and then we will be launching our Hearing the Heart of God 4-week mentoring course as well this month. So be looking out for that, and we don't want you to miss it.
Yeah, so good.
Anyway, so we're gonna come into now this part of our podcast where we get to share some highlights from the last couple years. You know, in the spirit of celebration and Thanksgiving and gratitude, we want to take some time to just, you know, share some good news and what we've learned, so that way, like, you can relate as far as like us in our lives as a couple, and also a couple doing ministry and business together, teaching. You know, that's a huge growth for us. So we want to take some time to do that. So the first question that I would love to ask you is, when you think about this last couple years, you know, what are some of the things that you are most proud of?
Yes. Well, I think, you know, in each season of our lives, there's these transitions that happen. And some of them you can expect, some of them you don't. And it kind of felt like in some ways I got kind of thrown into the season where we decided, like, why not? Why don't we step out and go for it and start our own business, even though we have been doing nonprofit work, working in ministries for 23 years. Why don't we launch out and do what is really on our heart? And I was talking to somebody not too long ago, and I was just thinking about how we've stepped out of being sons and daughters and become mothers and fathers.
Yes.
And I think I'm most proud about embracing a new adventure of something that I don't know, or something that's unfamiliar. So specifically business, what we do with clients and our programs, that's nothing new for us, but the actual running of something that's our own, instead of just doing the supporting part in it, has been huge. And I am so proud of us for going into the unknown.
Yes.
You know, because that's a big thing about growth in life and taking risk.
Yeah.
Like, what does the next season look like for you? How are you taking risk? And I was re-listening to one of our lessons, getting prepared for our Kingdom One program. And there was a phrase that I said in there that I love to think about, is this, when it relates to risk, that there are people waiting for you on the other side of your risk.
Yes.
And I was talking
so
I was talking to the class that I was speaking to in this video just about that concept that, you know, you can stay comfortable where you're at, and you'll make progress, you'll do things, but there are people that are untouched that you can reach specifically if you will step out and take risk. And I was just kind of having a tearful moment there, because the people that we were serving in that specific class, you know, I was just taken back, because I wouldn't have touched them.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to reach them, encourage them, support them, if I hadn't taken this big risk. And it was a big risk. We sold our house. We moved. We changed communities. I mean, so many things that were unfamiliar took place. But it's a part of our progression as people. Like we blossomed, and it's been fun being able to do that. And in my 40s, I'm excited for this new challenge. I'm excited that I'm challenging myself and not being comfortable, but stepping out and stepping into the unfamiliar and learning something new. And it's given me so much life, renewed life.
Oh, that's so good to hear.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's what I'm proud of. I have a long list, but those are two things kind of really stand out.
Gosh, like, I mean, if you just think about the class, you know, those were the first class that we had as we stepped out, right? In our first year, we stepped out and built Coil Coaching, and as well as we built the programs.
Yeah.
And so looking back to even just the students that we had that year and where they're at now, I mean, that was just like a little over a year ago.
Yeah.
You know, they graduated this last May in 2022, you know, and you can imagine, like, it's not even a year yet, and we've had students that built their own programs, that built their own, what you would call like their courses, table, their courses. You know, we had, I mean, if you just look back, like, you know, like I could think about like a few people that actually like started their own business, you know, people that
wrote their own books.
Come
on, you guys, we celebrate you.
Gosh, we celebrate you, you know. Like, if you are watching this, like, we are so proud of you.
Yes.
You know, and that's, you are a part of our highlight as we stepped out, you know, and took risks. Like, our students also did that and took risks. And we have some people as well that just like really improved relationships, you know, like how they did relationships. And then just their eyes were open, their hearts were opened, and there's a lot more vulnerability involved. And so therefore a lot of more connection involved. So I'm sure, like, you know, you also have other clients and our other students that came out from that. So yeah, we are so proud of you guys.
Yes.
Yeah. And so the next one, okay, this is one of the a great question that I ask myself too. So what were some of the lessons that you learned this last couple years? I mean, like a couple highlights from that, you know, what we learned.
Yeah, I would say probably one of the biggest ones is that I can do it.
Yes.
Right? Because, you know, when you go into something unfamiliar, you don't have the experience yet of being able to accomplish something. But once you get into it and you persevere, you realize, I can do this. And so I think a personal confidence in myself is one of those big areas, in the area of business, etc. It's continually growing, obviously. But that would be a huge thing, is just walking away with the confidence that I can do it, and I can learn it. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I'm kind of walking away with, is just this personal confidence in that. And then I have a long list of things that I've learned, specifically skill sets, obviously in business, but also in supporting people, in doing counseling and doing coaching, and seeing that it's not about me having the answer for them, but helping them discover the answer that's within them.
Yes.
And just really getting the momentum in that area of helping them step into who they are created to be. And all they need is someone to ask them the right questions, support them along the way, encourage them, reflect back what they're hearing or what they're saying, and be able to see what's going on. And the self-discovery that happens is so powerful. And I can't think of any client that hasn't experienced some form of breakthrough.
Right.
And we're rebranding or redoing our website. And one of the phrases that we're putting in there that I've discovered is, if you give us a moment, we'll give you change.
Yes.
If you do one of our programs or do one of our trainings, you'll be the change. And just the confidence of seeing people get the breakthrough as they do this work. It's work, but it's simple. It always works. It's like gravity. You throw something up, it's going to come back down.
Right.
When you intentionally focus on going after something in your life and being humble to open and receive feedback and move forward, then you will grow. And that is so powerful.
Wow.
So powerful.
Oh my gosh. Like, I just hearing you talk about, just the concept of like, I can do it. It's like one of the things that, with my type of personality, like, if somebody says I can't do it, then I will prove them wrong. Like, it's like, oh, I don't know if that's a good idea. I'm like, maybe it is a good idea, And I think that has helped me. That's one of the lessons I've learned, is to be true to who I am.
Yeah.
That's how I'm wired. And I have accepted that about myself. Obviously I now use it as a tool and not as a weapon against somebody. So the lesson I've learned there is that when I find confidence in who I am and what I carry and what I bring to the table in Coil Coaching, and you may feel that way, in your workplace right now, like, in the ministry that you're a part of, like, it's not really about looking like the next person next to you, looking like that person. It's about you accepting who you are and bringing yourself to the table and using who you are as a tool and not as a weapon against the person next to you. Because sometimes, personalities can clash. And I think that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned this last couple of years, working with my husband closely and also watching him navigate conflict, and navigate and helping people navigate conflict, and I think that that's one of the biggest strengths that I know about him. And now that he has like this great opportunity in our programs, because really, like, to be honest, and I know like people think I'm awesome and they're like, we want to coach with you. But then when you get to go through our program and you get to see what Matt has to offer, some of our clients who love me, they're like, hey, I would really want to meet with Matt instead of you. Is that okay? And I'm like, oh. And I say, of course, like, we work as a team and we function as a team. And it's not about like who's better or who's not. Like, it's about like our tool belt. We're putting our tools on the table and we're using it as tools and not weapons, and you can do that as well. Sometimes some of our clients have come to us and felt like their personalities have been weaponized or victimized. But there is a way, there's a way to turn that weapon and that victim mindset into a tool. And that's one of the biggest things that I've learned personally, and now I'm able to do that with our clients as well.
Good.
And working with you.
Yeah.
So anyway, and the other question, the last question is, okay, so last 2 years, obviously you and I have been in leadership for the last 20 something years and we've worked with different people, and so we kind of like heard everything, seen everything kind of thing. So this is a question that
unfortunately and unfortunately.
But for this question, like in the last couple of years that we've worked with Coil Coaching, were there any surprises? Were there any things like aha moments or things that you're like, oh wow, that surprised me? So
probably first thing that comes to mind for me is how fun it is. Because I remember when I transitioned out of the last role that I was in, and I took my sabbatical, my first thought was, I can reset my life priorities for this upcoming season. What would I want to do? What do I want to look like? What do I want to prioritize? Because in my last role, a part of it, managerial type of role, that I had tons of responsibilities because that was the nature of the role. And so my time was kind of at the mercy of whatever was needed.
Yeah.
And so being able to set my priorities, one of those being a personal day off. So normally every Friday, or I set it each week sometimes, but normally on Friday, it's my own personal day. My daughter's in school, you're doing whatever you want to do. And I go out and I go on adventure. If that's, fishing, backpacking, skiing, whatever it is, I've worked into my life now the priority of fun and adventure, because that's a huge need in my life, is that expression of fun, adventure, exploring. And so it's created my life to be so much more fun, which, I don't know if we don't always think about like that, where our needs are at and what we actually need to thrive in life, AKA why we call this Thriving One.
Yes.
I work 4 days a week, and then I have 2 days on the weekend for family, and I have my personal day. And so I've just prioritized that. And then also what we do is highly creative. It requires us to be creative. So in the creating of our courses, content, working with clients to help them see solutions, I get to focus on my main skill sets, and I come away with a lot of life. And so I think that is probably one of the most things that I'm most surprised about. Obviously there's low moments at times, but on the most part, it's like, no, I'm getting to be in my sweet spot. And I'm so excited for that. And so, and so that kind of feels like that was a big surprise for me.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah. And you do that so well, it's almost like, we do, you teach and you do what you teach. And it's kind of like a super helpful thing for us, as we're also helping our clients navigate some boundaries and some, priorities, setting priorities in their lives, because the thing is, like, what also surprised me is that the ability to be able to, the setting of your priorities was actually more life-giving than I thought, because I thought like, oh, I needed some structure, like obviously, like we still we have structures in our business, but to be able to put the structure in the middle of our priorities is what surprised me to be life-giving. Like, for example, like one of my priorities is like obviously Madison, aside from and God and our business, like Madison's kind of like one of my priorities right now. And I thought that would be kind of tiring, like overwhelming. Like there are times where it's overwhelming, but gosh, just connecting with her, being able to do the business and being there with her has brought a lot of life to me as a mother.
Nice.
Like the more that I became connected to her and her connected to me, it actually gave me life to be a better coach, like a better leader. Like it kind of surprised me with that connection of like having having some time with her, to be able to do some stuff with her, and it's actually what's giving me life to do this. Like it's so amazing, and I'm sure like some of you can relate to that as well, and sometimes we think that the outcome is what gives us life, but sometimes, and what surprised me is that the process and the journey is the one that gives me life. And then the outcome is like the icing on the cake, it's like, wow, with all the joy and the happiness that I'm feeling right now, the life that I have experiencing, it's giving me extra happiness that I see the outcome. And it gives me more strength to do the next thing. And for you guys, like that's a really good question to ask, like at least for this last year, like, what we're taking into account, like when you took a risk, like what surprised you, or what did you learn from the risk that you took? So like we just want to give you guys like an insight of like what some of the things that were our highlights for the last couple of years, but also in a way give you some questions that you can also ask yourself as you take time, to do a reflection in 2022, or even if it's just like 3 years, you can look back as far as 3 to 5 years and ask yourself those same questions that we just asked each other. So the first question was, when you think back on this past year or years, what are you most proud of yourself for? You know, and so when we ask those questions, this could include accomplishments, but can also extend to personal growth, state of being that you're proud of. In other words, you know, being and doing at the same time.
Yeah. So
right. Good. And the second question is like, out of the risks that you took this past years, you know, what were some of the biggest lessons that you learned during those times about yourself, about God, about your friends, about your family? It's really great to answer those questions. And obviously the last one was, what surprised you?
Yes.
So we would love for you guys, you know, to share your answers if you want. It's a good time to reflect on those questions, and just so you could also have a way to create intentions for 2023.
Yes.
Right? Like, so you have reflected some of those things, you know, and then now, like, there's a few questions that we want to leave you with, so that way you guys can also create intentions for 2023. So aside from those questions, reflective questions, these are the questions that you can ask yourself for intentions. What are you hoping for in 2023? What are you going to continue doing? And the third one, what will you change completely? So it may help, like if you had a journal that you can record your responses and prayers.
Yes.
And if you want to be like, hey, you know, also like, oh, I would, you know, these are questions that you can do yourself. But if you're like me and you want to have another person help you, you know, like process with, like, please feel free to connect with us. You know, we would love to partner with you, one-on-one or our programs.
Right? And if you are interested, and we're going to be resetting our web page to reflect this, but if you email us, we'd love to have a free 15-minute consultation with you. If you're interested in doing coaching or trying to figure out if going into one of our programs is for you, just go ahead and email us and ask, could I do a 15-minute consultation with you guys? We'd love to chat with you, help direct you to the right place, and just really help you get the support that you deserve. That matches your value, because you are valuable, and we are here for you. We care about you guys, and that's why we do the podcast, our social media, all of our free resources, our programs, and our coaching. Is we truly care and love people and want to see them become the best versions of who they're created to be, and the thrive, right? To be fulfilled.
So thank you guys for watching our podcast, for listening, and we want to leave you with this quote. Step out of the history that is holding you back, and then step into the new story you are willing to create.
So good.
And so we want to leave you with that quote, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy 2 years Coil Coaching. And we will see you guys
in the next episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye.